Good morning. I'm Dr. Lisa Lindsay Wicker, your host for Inside Career Success, the show that is about women doing women, accelerating women, lifting women. It's all about women, but we also look for men allies to support us. Today, I have a guest that I'm really excited to bring on. But before I bring her on, I want to just say thank you for joining us. It could be that you could choose to be any other place, but you've chosen to be with us today. And on Wednesdays, we call it Fabulous Wednesdays, women that we have crushes on. And we have one today. And so let me tell you a little about Career Mastered before we begin our conversation with our guests. Career Mastered has been in existence for over 10 years, in fact, 11 years now. And we started with a mere concept of women who are mastering their careers and advancing women's leadership. From that concept, we established 2 years later the Career Mastered magazine, which is a global footprint that really shares the stories about women inside their careers, inside their lives, so that we can have inspiration and motivation for other women to connect and to do as well. And it's all about leveling up, playing the game and doing it well, but not doing it alone. We look to ensure that we bring other women along as well as young girls. And so I'm excited today about this show, the show that celebrates power moves, purpose driven leadership, and women who are changing the game. And I'm your host for this conversation. But we're driving that power with a storytelling, authorship, and connector, none other than Dr. Joan T. Randall, an international award winning publisher. And I'm going to share more about her when I bring her on. But I just wanted to share a little bit more about some of the things that we're doing. The conversation is going to be dope. Let me just say that. But before that, let me tell you about where we are with Career Mastered magazine. Our summer issue, as you can see, is out. It features April Simpkins. April Simpkins is the CHRO of Questco, as well as the honoree for 2025 for Career Mastered Resilience Award. She is the author of, by the time you read this, that she wrote with her daughter, who is now deceased. April is a firebrand. And I'm excited about the story, the exclusive story that we had a chance to write in this summer's magazine. And you can head right over to careermaster.com and get your copy today. You can either subscribe digitally or in print, but it is available for you now. I'm also excited about our top entrepreneurial women to watch for 2025. Joan, Dr. Randall, was an honoree for 2023, and we're ready for the 2025 cohort. So if you're that woman, that lady, that woman that's doing it and getting the game on, leveling up in 2025, where people need to know about your brand authority, and what you're giving to the marketplace, then please apply. You can go to careermaster.com or send us an email at info@careermaster.com to learn more about the program. The deadline for submitting your nomination is June the 30th. This magazine will feature top women throughout the nation in the September fall edition. So don't miss out on that. And then let me tell you about the survey that we're conducting to understand what your needs are from Career Mastered. It is a quick survey asking you to tell us about your needs for webinars, seminars, summits. What is it that we can provide to you to further your leadership and to further your connections? And now, without further ado, let me bring on Joan T. Randall. Dr. Randall, how are you?
I am doing fantastic, Dr. Lisa. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. And I have said to those that had joined me earlier, just quickly here, that we're diving into the power of storytelling,
Yes.
authorship, and connections with you, an international award-winning publisher, author, and founder of Victorious Press. I know Dr. Randall is on a mission to amplify voices, their truth, and their stories. And so let me tell you a little bit more officially about her background. She is a best-selling author and founder, as I said, of Victorious U Press, A former corporate executive turned literary strategist, she helps women turn their stories into best selling books and global platforms. With over 25 titles published and a mission rooted in purpose, and it could be more than that, I'm sure, Dr. Randall empowers aspiring authors to heal, lead, and make impact through the power of the written word. Again, Dr. Randall has helped hundreds of women write, publish, and launch best selling books that have transformed lives and launched thriving businesses, movements, and ministries. Her journey from trauma to triumph is the foundation of her purpose driven work. And we're going to get right into it right away. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. It's such an honor to be sitting right next to you on this platform today, a
Well,
woman that I've so admired and who is my mentor.
oh, thank you so very much. I know when we first met, and I believe that was at one of our Macy's events,
Yeah.
you stood out very, I consider iconic in presence. You know, some people just have the presence, and I didn't forget your articulation. I love your speech and all of that. So we kind of connected, and you started writing for us, and then you became an
Yes.
honoree. And before I know it, you were writing and starting and changing lives with the opportunity to help others write.
Yes, absolutely. I remember way back, I think I sat on a panel at one of your events as well.
Yes.
But I watched you from those Macy's days all the way through. And when I started writing for the magazine, it was such a thrill and an honor to do that, right? So I felt like I got my writing start
Oh,
writing for your magazine.
well, hey, we'll take that. We'll take that. It's all about, inspiring, and it's all about making sure that we help one another. And so our theme today is making connections via publishing. And we're going to talk about success. We're going to talk about careers. We're going to talk about you and how has publishing helped you build meaningful personal and professional relationships. So let me start by, can you tell us a bit about your journey and how you became a publisher and award-winning author?
So I spent 25 years in corporate America. And at the 23 and a half year mark, I felt there was a shift in my mind. There was a shift in me mentally, psychologically. And for all of my years in corporate, I had a story that I was afraid to share.
Wow.
And so, because the story came with shame.
Mm.
And in my mind, as a corporate executive, I thought to myself, if anyone that I work with know the story, maybe their view of me would be different. And so I carry that shame and that pain internally, right? I almost created a different person.
Oh
So
my goodness.
who I was corporately was not who I was in reality, right? Because of masking that part of me that was a part of my history, that was a part of the fabric of who I was. And believe it or not, that story created this resilience that was inside. So when I was there for about 23 and a half years, I thought to myself, look where I am. I started this company as a part time sales associate, and
Mhm.
I'm a regional vice president.
Yeah.
And with the story hidden.
Oh my goodness.
And I said to myself, somebody needs to know this because I want to be able to speak to the woman that may have experienced what I experienced and
Mm.
feel as if my story is too shameful to share. But ultimately, the story is what built the purpose. It was what built the resilience.
Yeah.
It was what built the strength of
Yeah.
who I was as a career woman.
Wow.
So I needed to share the story. And so I wasn't sure how I was going to do that, but it just started to bother me at like the 23 and a half year of being with this company.
Wow.
And I left year 25, and my goal was to become a speaker because I needed to share the story of how I went from pain to purpose, victim to victor,
Wow.
right? And
Keep
survivor to
going.
thriver.
Talk, girl. I love it.
That was the reason.
Yes.
So that led to me sitting down one day writing,
Mm.
because Dr. Lisa, I had been through this career growth that was unimaginable. Like every 3 years, there was a promotion. Every 3 years, there was a promotion,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I wanted people to understand that your strength is your story, your power is your story, no matter what the story is. And
Mhm.
we all have some. And
Mhm.
so the writing started at the end of 2015.
Okay.
Published my first book. And ultimately, the book that I published had nothing to do with my story.
Mm. Really?
But the story was so profound. I wanted to establish myself as a writer first
Yes.
before
Yes.
I touched the story, right? So the writing was a way of testing the water. Would
Hmm.
people buy a book that I write? Who would be interested in me? I was not known in the literary world. I was not known as a writer. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to test the water. And that's what I started. The first book I wrote was, believe it or not, a devotional journal,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Because I'd gone through so much pain in my life, the story that I was hiding, there was so much pain that I wanted people to understand that whatever you experience in life, there is a journey of self reflection, self love, self awareness. And once you get there, you have to understand, how did I get here? What
Right.
were the steps I took to be able to get to self love, loving me after
Love,
all the shame that I carried? And
loving.
so the book was about 90 scriptures that talk about hope, joy, love, peace, forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that was the first book I launched. I
Wow.
retired after 25 years, early retirement. And it was December 2015 that I retired. And in 2016, February 2016, I launched my book.
Wow.
And the success was mind blowing.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was mind blowing.
Yes.
But when you write one book, you get this bug, right? And that's why I started writing for your magazine.
Yeah. Yeah.
This thing hit you, and you're like, "Ooh, I published a book, and it got on the bestsellers list, and I'm so excited." And now I'm writing for Career Master magazine, and I'm writing all these articles, and then it got into my skin, not knowing, Dr. Lisa,
Yes.
that I was purposed to do this all my life.
Yes. Yes. So all of the pain would turned into purpose.
Yes.
Absolutely. Wow. And so is that what inspired you to start Victorious Press, and what makes it different from maybe other platforms? Can you tell us? Because I know the drops that I'm hearing, the gems that I'm hearing about devotion, ministry, um, the spiritual aspect. Tell us about what inspired you to start this Victorious Press. In fact, even the name Victorious, and what makes it different from other publishing platforms, given your story. And we're going to get a little bit into your story, because I think you've talked before about some of the trauma that you had personally, and
Yeah.
how that you were hiding. So let's talk a little bit about the Victorious Press, please.
So the very first book I wrote was called 90 Days to a Victorious You. And you may say, well, why 90 days? Well, being from the corporate world, 90 days is a probationary period,
Yes.
which means if you start a job, if you start, a career, 90 days is kind of getting your feet wet, understanding the basic functions of the role that you're in.
Right.
So I use that as the catalyst for the book. I'm thinking, if there is pain and hurt and trauma inside of you, and you read this book, which gives you inspiration, right, and motivation, after 90 days, you should start to feel better about yourself, right? Something clicks after 90 days,
Yes.
right? It's like, you know what? I've been doing this every day and I'm feeling good about myself. So
Yes.
that was the purpose of the book. The reason why I called it Victorious, 90 Days to a Victorious You, is because I know that I was a victim of a circumstance. And
Mm-hmm.
because I overcame that circumstance, I now am a victor,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Victorious You was just the play on the word victor,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So Victorious You.
Yes.
And as I started writing, then I wrote book number 2, book number 3, book number 4, book number 5, book number. By the time I got to book number 9, I finally told my story.
Oh, it took you 8 months, but you did finally.
So, so from 2016 to 2019, I had written 9 books,
Wow.
9 books in 3 years.
That's a lot.
And it just became, and what I realized, Dr. Lisa, was people are now started asking me, can you help me write my book? Because all your books are on the bestseller list and all your books are doing well. Can you help me write my book?
Yeah.
And I realized I had this thing for hearing someone's story and turning it into a masterpiece.
Yes.
I didn't realize the gift that I had with that. And when I started helping people to, I'm like, wait a minute, I just gave her like an outline,
Yeah.
very simple outline, because there's 4 parts to writing a book, Dr. Lisa: the hook, the body, the resolution, the conclusion. That's it.
That's it. Hmm.
Right? A lot of publishers talk about an outline and characters and all of this stuff. Could be a little confusing for a first time writer. But
Yes.
if you have 4 sections and you know the very first section is the hook, then the other part of your book is the body, the backstory, right? And how you got to be here, and
Mhm.
then how you resolved whatever that thing is, and then the conclusion for what the reader can take away. That's your book.
That's it.
Very simple. So I created this simple form, and then in 2019, I helped a pastor wrote her book.
Okay.
And then because I knew a lot of publisher, and she said, I told her, I said, now I have a publisher for you. And she said, no, I want you to publish it.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I created
The
my
public.
publishing company. And all I did was added press to
Yeah.
the end of my platform, which was always Victorious You.
Okay.
That
Wow.
was how that started. So the one book started this desire to write and to tell stories. And then once I helped this pastor with her book, I now recognize that it is more than just writing. How
Yes.
can I help others tell their stories, no matter how painful the story is?
Interesting. Now I hear your native tongue coming out. I think you're
Yes.
from Jamaica or Bahamas.
Jamaica man.
Yeah, yeah. So take me back to that part that may have had part of your story and your journey today. In other words, your foundation from your childhood. Did you ever dream that this is where you would be today?
Now,
Yeah.
never dream. The one thing I knew, it's so funny you asked me that question because now it's taking me back. I remember as a young girl in high school in Jamaica, surrounded by the ocean. So I would sit on my veranda. You guys
Yeah.
call it porch, right? But then we call it veranda. So I would sit on my veranda and then we could look out onto the ocean. And I would always see these ships passing by on the skyline, on the horizon. And I
Mhm.
would sit and wonder, who are all the people that's on that boat? I wonder what they're doing now. But I would always dream of what it would be like going beyond the horizon. What
Mm.
is in the other country? What is over there? What is life like? And so I would daydream about the different world, based on what I'd grew up and known as a child living on the island, right?
Yeah.
And so I knew that I was going to explore. I knew that I was going to leave Jamaica. I felt like Jamaica had become too small for me when I
Yeah.
started working. And so my desire was always to come to the States. And when I did, it was an unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah.
That was rare.
I think people would wonder that circumstance had to do with your personal life, your marriage, right? Is that,
Yes.
yeah, the story of not a good marriage.
No, it
Not,
was.
do you want to share or not? Just
Yeah, sure. I could share a little bit. And that was the secret. So when I came here, my husband was abusive.
yeah,
And so for 7.5 years, I experienced, just abuse.
yeah,
Physical, emotional, mental. It was just horrible.
yes,
And I felt trapped.
Mm,
because you know what I mean? I felt trapped because here I am. I am now married. I have two daughters, and this man is hitting me and fighting and doing all the things. And sometimes my daughters hear that, you
yeah.
know? And so I went through a really difficult time, thought about taking my life a
Yeah.
couple of times, me and my daughter's life. And believe me when I tell you, my 11-year-old and my 3-year-old saved my life.
Amen.
And so we end up running away, packed everything in 10 black trash bags, and ran away to Florida.
And look at you now. Look at you now. And the reason I wanted people to hear that is because, um, what do you say to people who feel that their story isn't big enough or they're not worthy of a book? Because I look at three things you said. And one is that you sat on the veranda and you watched the ships pass by and wonder about the world,
Yeah.
beyond that. And
Yeah.
your whole story is about the smallness, the beauty of Jamaica, but the smallness of it that you wondered about the world. And now look at your world. You have successful daughters, grandchildren, you made it. And so there may be somebody listening today who says, "Well, I have a story." And I often say this, you are your story in spite of whatever you think is negative, because that's the story and you can always turn that into a positive. What do you say about people that might think that their story is not worth a book?
Everybody's story is worth to be written. First of all, a book is legacy,
Mhm.
right? And I always say this, Dr. Lise, you can hear me tell my story, over and over again, and you may pick one or two things from the story that you remembered, right? And no matter how many people I tell the story to, they'll take away something from it. They'll never remember everything.
Mhm.
But when you write a book, they will never forget the story.
Yeah.
So once you speak it, they'll hear it. They may remember some, but not remember all of it. But when you write it, they'll never forget it. That's the power of telling your story. That's the power of documenting it. That's the power of writing it, because that is legacy. A
Mhm.
100 years from now, 150 years from now, my great great grandchildren will know their great great grandmother's story. It's
Right.
never too small, because in this world, stories is what unite us, right? And so if I had kept my domestic violence story to myself,
Mhm.
I would not have helped to be the breakthrough or the bridge to so many women who said your book changed my life.
Mhm.
Because of your story, I was able to leave. Because of your story, I realized that I could start somewhere and build. Because of your story, I never carried the shame of domestic violence or homelessness or abuse or sexual assault. I was able to turn that around for the good and encourage and empower others who may have experienced that thing to say, look at how Joan came out of it, or look at how Lisa came out of it. If she did, I can do it too.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. Well, I tell you, I'm an author three times over, and they all have won an award. I shared with you earlier, and this may be a challenge for someone. Once I've written the book, I don't think that I have followed through as well as I can about the monetization of it. What strategies do you think authors those who have written a book need to do to keep their stories and their books in front of the marketplace?
So, first of all, your book is your business card. It's
Mm.
your business card. So the same way you were giving out your business card, I would say put your book on your business card, right? If you have a business card and you have some books, put your author platform on your card. Where can people get my book from? Your book is your business card. Your book is credibility and visibility
Mm.
in that word.
Mhm.
It creates this credibility. Dr. Lisa, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten chosen to speak on a platform because I'm an author,
Mhm.
right? And sometimes you have the expertise, you have the mastery, you have the skills, the lived experiences, the learned experiences, the knowledge, but outside of your brain or you, who does it benefit?
Right. Right.
It really isn't benefit anyone. And you may speak or teach about your knowledge and your expertise to the community that you know and the community that you influence. But what about internationally?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you don't speak, what about the person in another city, in another country, in another state? They can't get what you have for them unless it's in a book, unless they can read it, unless they can walk away with something. Can I just share what I believe about writing,
Yes,
especially when you're an expert or a mastery at what you do, Dr. Lisa?
yes, absolutely.
Your story is the seed planted inside of you. Whatever you experience is the seed, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you overcome those adversity or those setbacks or those things that make you feel ashamed, and you start to turn that into purpose, you have now created the apple,
Mm.
right?
Got
So
it.
the seed is what was planted, but
Mhm.
when you overcome and steward and water that, it becomes an apple. But the apple is not for you.
Mhm.
You can't eat the apple. The apple is not for you. The apple is for the person who need what you have, that
Yeah.
experience, that learn, that live, that skill, that expertise, right? And
Mhm.
the more you give that apple, now you have an orchard.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And what do people? So now you are impacting the lives of tens and hundreds and thousands of people because you had one apple and you created an orchard, and now all of these people are feeding from your story, from what you put out into the world.
Yeah.
That's the beauty about writing. That's the beauty of for it is written.
Wow.
That's the beauty of being able to reference something that you were able to use to impact lives, to build bridges, to impact the world. That's
Mhm.
the power
Mhm.
of storytelling. That's the power of a book.
Wow. Wow. What would be your recommendation? I know kind of what you're going to say, but I'd rather hear it from you for women that are sitting on books. And I think we all are as
Yeah.
women. I think everyone that's been in the world at least about 25 years or so, you're already
Mhm.
starting your story, right? So what would you say to women that just need that nudge to just write the book?
Just write it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Mhm.
So, writing is not your normal everyday thing that you do, right? Writing has to be, it has to be intentional.
Yeah.
You've got to schedule it or you'll never get it done.
No.
Everything else come in the way.
Yeah.
Your daily life, your work, your family, your children, all the things that you do, right? But the same way you can schedule a hair appointment, a nail appointment, a massage is the same way you schedule your writing time.
Wow.
Think about when you are most creative. Some people are most creative in the morning, some people are most creative at night.
Hmm.
Take that time to just journal your thoughts. Journal who are you? How did you get here? What is the story that got you here? And just journal that. Just write that. And
Right.
before you know it, I used to laugh because when I wrote for your magazine, the editor in chief used to give me a number of words to write. So
Yeah.
she'll say, between 500 and 750 words, Joe, no more than that. And sometimes I write 1,000 and I gotta go back and I gotta cut it back down.
No, 'cause you're
Because
talking from your heart. Yeah.
yes, right. So then I would go back and I gotta self-edit and like, oh my God, this is too much. Let me take this out, right?
Right. Right.
You can write 750 words in an hour,
Yeah.
right?
Easy.
Right. So if you're writing for 3 hours a day, 750 words, that's like,
Yeah.
what is that, right? Like 100 and something words, right? In just one day, not 100 and something, 1,000 and something words
Yeah.
in 3 hours.
Yeah. In 24 hours.
In
Three.
20, right, or 3 hours. All right, let's just use an easy, a simple one, 500 words.
Yeah.
500 words if you write in one day for 3 hours, that's 1,500 words.
Yeah.
If you write 6 hours a week, that's 3,000 words, right? If you write for 4 weeks and weekend, that's 12,000 words.
Yeah.
That's half of a book.
It works. I mean, I'm thinking about my process. I used to just keep a notebook. I mean, things have changed. You can just do your phone and record, but I used to keep
Yeah,
it by my bed, or if I went on vacation, I always had notes, and
yeah,
then those notes became a book. you know? And the thing I think I would like our women to hear really is that once you publish this book, it adds to your credibility, right? In terms of your
Yes.
expertise. But how do we monetize that? Like, help me with that.
Okay. So the book is the first rung of the ladder. The
Hmm.
book is not the end. The book is the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So if you write a book, and I'm just going to take, for example, I wrote a book about, 90 days to a victorious you. It was a devotional journal.
Hmm.
Simple, right? Sounds like, oh, it's nothing. It's just like, how
Hmm.
many people are writing journal, right?
Yeah.
But after I wrote that journal, I wrote a guided workbook, right? So this guided workbook used the pillars, the elements of the devotional to create another book so people could answer questions about their own life and getting from victim to victor,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
After that, I used those elements and I created a course, a 6-week course, same book, 3 different streams of income now. The
Hmm.
book, the guided journal, and now the course. So
Right.
here I am teaching courses based on the same pillars from the devotional,
Hmm.
right? So now this is all it's a whole training, personal development training.
Yeah.
From that, I decided that I was going to help people build their small business. Same concept, but now a fourth stream of income,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then I decided I was going to do a master class,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Same concept, but a 3.5 hour master class online, $45 each person. That's a fifth stream of income. Then
Wow.
from the master class, I decided that I want to do a workshop.
Got it.
And so I bring people together live, did a workshop. From the workshop, I created my first event, full-fledged event,
Oh yeah.
right? That's 8 stream of income.
Wow.
So it's just building from one book. So think about the possibilities, right? That is why it's so important to keep promoting it.
Yes.
Hey, I wrote this book.
I got
Now I did the workbook. Now I did this. Now, by the way, I'm going to do a TED talk, right? By the way, I'm creating a magazine.
yeah.
By the way, I'm using my story and I'm doing a documentary.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then I'm turning my story into a stage play.
There you
Then
go.
I'm pitching my book for a movie. That's the power of one book.
You get us going. You got me excited. I got things to do now. I got to go back and look at my book and say, okay, what didn't I do? But at the end of the day, Dr. Joan, I'm really proud of you.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on all that you've done. I think we could
So
talk for
much.
hours for aspiring women that want to write books or want to be successful in their careers and add to the foundation of what they already are doing. How can they get in touch with you?
It's very simple. Here we go with Victorious You again, right? So just victoriousyoupress.com. I am on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm everywhere, on YouTube.
Mhm.
It's either Joan T. Randall, or you can just go to www.victoriousyoupress.com.
Yes, yes. Well, I tell you what, Dr. Randall, first let me congratulate you on your recent honorary
Thank you.
degree. I want to also congratulate you on your next part of your career, becoming a realtor,
Yes.
which by the way, shows that we're not one dimensional, ladies. Really, we are a multitude of talents. And so,
Yeah.
even though you might be in this lane as a publisher, she's now gone on and gotten her real estate license, which tells me that it's not over. You still got more things to do, and I always believe that we can shatter any limits. We just have to put our minds to believe it, say it, and get the work done, put the action with it.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining me. And that's your doorbell, is it? That's okay. That's not a problem. Thank you for joining me. And for those that would like to share this conversation or go back and listen to it, please do. It's available on LinkedIn, on YouTube, as well as Facebook Live and the Career Mastered Women's programs. I want to
Yeah.
thank you, Dr. Randall, for being here today. I look forward to continuing our conversations and following your star that's rising continuously.
Thank you.
And I want to thank our guests for being here today and for participating. We've talked to Kavana and Tiffany and Beatrice Youssef, our girl over in Nigeria. And then we have Bridget and Carol. So you had a good crowd today in terms of listening, because I
Yes.
believe there's a story in all of us. And sometimes we just need the guidance and direction on how to get it done. And Dr. Joan, you've told us that today. So thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be talking soon. Bye now.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Wow. Whew, goodness. I have to go back and listen to this because I certainly enjoyed talking to Dr. Randall, which I always do. She's such a fireball of energy, but more importantly, she has great advice and wisdom around being successful in the realm of a number of avenues, whether it's corporate or whether it's publishing your book. And now she's getting into real estate. So we know we're going to be watching that. But I would say that connect with her. She is the person that perhaps can help you get to where you want to be in writing your book. And so I'm excited that we had that chance to talk to her today. And for those that didn't join us earlier, but just are now catching in, I wanted to share that the summer magazine, Career Mastered, is available on careermastered.com. April Simpkins is on the cover. Please read her story. She is the mother of Chelsea Chris, I think it was her daughter's name. And she and her daughter are actually the authors of the bestseller by the time you read this. And so I think it would be good to purchase that book as well. And then I am excited to share that we are up and running with our launch of the top entrepreneurial women to watch for 2025. It is a biannual program that Career Mastered is responsible for. So if you're that entrepreneur or you know an entrepreneur that is kicking it and leveling up for 2025, then nominate her or let her know about the opportunity between now and June the 30th to be selected for this. I call it expansion and exposure to the global marketplace, because you will be in the Career Mastered magazine. This program has an opportunity for women to have these benefits: one, brand awareness; two, a spread about you in the magazine. You can also be in the running for the cover. There will be one female entrepreneur selected for the cover. And this year, we've also added a $2,500 grant for the person that actually will be on the cover. So that person that is selected, that woman who is selected as the top nominee, will be on the cover as well as receive a $2,500 business grant. The idea, though, really is to expand your marketplace exposure and let people know what you're doing. The key that I often say to women, brand awareness is important. If you're an entrepreneur, do you have an ad? Now, you do not necessarily think that an ad is important. Let me tell you, it is. Just as you see ads for Mercedes or Lowe's or any other company, if you're in this space and you consider yourself a market guru or woman that has a business that you want investors to recognize or businesses to come to you to receive your services, then this is the space to be. My goal is to get you exposure and to have an opportunity for you to level up. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Simply go to careermaster.com, scan the QR code, and then you can fill out the questionnaire and be a part of this process. Again, we have the survey that is available as well that we would like you to complete. It is online, and it's helping us to know how to serve you better. We are excited here at Career Master as we are in our 11th year, and it's been a wonderful journey to watch women connect, grow, and expand. And until next week, I will see you, and thank you so very much for joining us today.